What's the best thing you weren't supposed to overhear? I overheard a construction worker on his lunch break quietly singing Bohemian Rhapsody to himself in Gonzo's voice. I don't think I'll ever hear anything better. I would pay money to hear this. I was in my bedroom with the door closed so it looked like I wasn't home. Now, there has been a significant amount of people who lived in this room before I moved in, one right after the other. My two roommates were in the kitchen that is right outside my bedroom and one says, "Where is my name here?" Anyway, she's the best roommate we've ever had. Probably because you spend all day in your room with the door closed, not disturbing any of them. My niece was just a baby and my brother was in another room talking with some family members about who she looked like. Someone commented that she resembled me a bit and my brother said they would be lucky if it turned out that way. My boss's boss. I need two of your best people for an important job. My boss. Counterfeit fake. Boss's boss. And, boss, he is all you'll need. I overheard my parents were getting us Game Boy Colors and Pokemon for trying so hard in class when I was about 10. Best freaking day ever. And then your grades dropped when you got them. Maybe not best, but surely puzzling. I was a guide at the International Orthopedic Congress a few years ago. It's a pretty boring job consisting, that night, of standing in a mostly empty hallway to direct guests to the dining area as they stepped off the elevator. Since this was not the main way to the dining area, there were very few people passing my way. Then one time, the elevator opens, out step about half a dozen orthopedic specialists, and one man delivers the line, "So I gave the man breasts. What else could I do?" and everyone else laughs hysterically. Ever since then, I've been trying to figure out the setup to that joke. If I am ever in a position to make a small addition to a TV show or movie script, this is definitely going in the background. In New York one time I was at a shop that sold macarons and there are two cute blonde girls behind the counter. One says to the other, in French, "He's really cute." The other says, "Yeah, he's nice." I don't say anything. She asks me what I want, in English. I respond to her in fluent French, with the biggest crap-eating grin on my face ever. She starts blushing like crazy. Then I pay and run out because I am afraid of talking to girls. I stood up to a bully in the 8th grade. While our class was walking to the cafeteria, I overheard him tell his friend that he was afraid of me. My kid has always been pretty mediocre when it comes to sports. It's not that he's bad, he is just a little smaller and shorter than most kids his age. They hand out jersey numbers according to size, and he is always the shortest kid, whether it is baseball, soccer or basketball. I always feel like he's the underdog when he plays sports. People don't expect much from him, so he is always praised by his own team when he does anything. Being able to keep up with the team is something to be proud of, but I wanted him to excel, even if it was just once. So this last year he was playing soccer and the coach discovered he made a pretty good goalie, and so started putting him in the position more and more. The team dominated most of the season until we got to this team that was simply better than ours. After a very intense game, they finally beat us 3-2. It was our only loss and ended our perfect season. A weekend tournament comes up and we have to play the same team again, this time with certified refs in a sanctioned tournament. Unlike the previous game against this team, my coach decides to put my kid in as goalie for the entire game. The other team is even better than the last time we played them. They have complete control of the ball and the field. Something strange happens this time. My kid is blocking almost everything that is coming at him. Shot after shot, he is stopping them from scoring. At halftime, parents from our team are telling us what a good job he is doing, and one says that he is the only reason we still have a chance against this team. As nice as what they are saying is, all I'm hearing is, "Wow, your kid typically sucks, but today he is playing as well as the rest of the kids on the team normally play." I know that's not what they're saying, but it's hard to be objective as a parent or as a teammate's parent. It looked like he was doing great, but I kind of just wanted to hear it from someone more impartial. Last quarter of the game and we are up 3-2. My kid is sitting in the goal and here comes a kid with a perfect chance to take a shot. He boots the ball. My kid dives and saves it just in time. The crowd goes wild. At this point, I overhear a parent from the opposing team say, "This is bulls. Get rid of that goalie so we can score some dang points." I could hear a mixture of the finale music from Karate Kid and Rocky at the same time. My kid, the runt of the team, is playing so good that parents from the other team are actually cussing him out. This was one of the happiest moments of my life. He did block more shots and the team did go on to win. The coach hugged him and swung him around and the team lifted him up in the air. Dang man, this crap played out in my head like a movie scene. 6. This kind of isn't like hearing, but I got on my best friend's computer to look something up, and the last thing he had googled was I'm in love with my best friend. And now we've been dating for 2 years. I think about it sometimes and it still makes me smile. Little do you know, every time you asked to use his computer he would search for that and then close the window, hoping that one day you would look in the history and see it. When I was 14 and wanted to take a very green horse outside for the first time on a rather secluded and unfamiliar trail, I heard another horse person ask my instructor why he said it was okay. He said, "It's because she's freaking fearless." That was awesome. Unfortunately, Fearless was the name of the horse. While I was in the bathroom I overheard my friends talking to my father about getting beat up bullying in middle school, and one of them said to Dad, "But we don't have to worry about that because Jubicus is one of the toughest kids at school." I had no idea this was my reputation and my confidence shot up. I saw one of my good friends, and also one of the more attractive girls I knew, walking and talking with a mutual friend of ours, so I started to pick up my speed to catch up to them, and when I'm getting closer I hear her say, "Yeah, when, Waffles, where's that green shirt?" I almost have to restrain myself from jumping on him in class. Wore that green shirt at the next party we were both at. She didn't restrain herself. Jiggity. My girlfriend thought I was still asleep one morning and quietly said "I love you" while getting up and leaving, something she'd never said before. I played along so as not to be awkward. I married her 4 years later. You should direct country music videos. Well, it's clear that hand puppets are autonomous creatures. A geek type talking to another walking past me on campus. My mom talking to my dad over the phone around Christmas time. I couldn't find the game he wanted at Toys R Us, so I got him Zelda Ocarina of Time instead. I was a Sega kid growing up and I had never played a Zelda game before. How my video game ignorant mom knew to pick that game is a mystery to this day. It must have been fate. Clearly she wasn't freaking ignorant, man. I used to work in a home for people with physical disabilities, and got to know an elderly couple resident there. Although my job didn't involve direct contact with residents, they quickly recognized a new face, since they were in the same environment day in day out, and introduced themselves. So I would always take a few minutes to chat with them if I saw them around. One day after such a chat, I excused myself to get back to work, and on my way upstairs heard their conversation start. "She's lovely, isn't she?" "Yes, she's lovely." Easily made my day. Always a nice change to hear a compliment behind your back. A few years ago I was at a restaurant with my parents. A family with a little girl walked past our table. The little girl turned around and looked at me when she sat down. Turning back to her parents she said ecstatically, "Look mom, a princess." Here I have a similar story. I was waiting in line at a bakery and a little girl behind me turns to her mother and says, "Look mum, it's Rapunzel. I have really long hair," and kids smile at me a lot because of it. It might be the worst thing I wasn't supposed to overhear, but the best thing that I overheard, cause otherwise I probably would have given a hot French for King Gasol my phone number. I was in a cafe in Versailles, where I had been studying for about half a year. I was speaking in English to my father, who was visiting for just 2 days. We were perceived to be typical stupid American tourists. We are American, but not dumb, and we weren't tourists. At least not that day. I overheard a group of teenage boys talking about how dumb and easy American girls were. That we always put out because we're a bunch of dumbass. These guys were dongs. Not at all the average nice folks I was meeting at school and work. They were going on and on for at least half an hour about American B and what my naked body probably looked like in painfully descriptive detail. All very lovely discussion. Freaking idiots were arguing over who could get my phone number and which one would frick me better, and first, one approached me. In English he said, I can't help but notice that such a lovely young American might need a native French tour guide. I'd love to show you around the neighborhood. Nice and loud in French I said. Plenty of us aren't easy or stupid. Go frick yourself. My dad, who didn't understand the exchange but could tell what had happened, at least vaguely, said I've never been more proud of you. On behalf of non-Deutschbag Frenchmen, I'm deeply sorry. One of my favorite things to do is to say something honestly nice about someone as they're walking away. The idea is that they think I didn't intend for them to hear it. Happened to me once and made my day, so I decided to make it part of my routine. Not overheard exactly, but my first girlfriend had a calendar in her room, and one day I noticed that the day of our first shy little pseudo date was marked coffee with a Cam's machete. 3. Back in HS, the girl I was dating had a memory book thing, and she wrote down the date I first kissed her. The teenager in me still smiles about that, even if she was a little interesting. A few years ago I was walking through a grocery store. There were two kids goofing around near me, and I hear one of them shout out, "Oh my god, she's so hot." We made eye contact and then he looked really embarrassed. Either way, it was nice to hear. That's where a little wink come in handy, just to confirm that you are, in fact, hot. And although they are children, you acknowledge that they have developed accurate assessments of hot. Olivia while talking about BJ's at the table behind me while I had dinner with my girlfriend and her mom. I hope that I earned some boyfriend points for not getting distracted by that. Please, do share this conversation. It was like 3 days after my girlfriend had broken up with me and I was sulking in my room. My roommate had one of his buddies over and they were chilling in the living room. I had met this guy a couple of times and smoked some trees with him, but otherwise we were not particularly close. I went to the bathroom and heard my roommate's friend say, "Is there something wrong with BEZ3?" My roommate explained how I was dumped, and his friend said, "Oh, that's terrible, but he's a cool, good-looking guy and I'm sure he'll be back on his feet soon." That was really just what I needed to hear. When I was in 6th grade, my parents were planning this big surprise ski trip and I heard them talking about ski gear and plane tickets, so I knew something was up and had an idea. But the day came when I thought it was. Went to school like usual and nothing happened. I was a bit disappointed. Halfway through the day though, they picked me up and had already packed my stuff and we went straight to the airport. A pretty good surprise. That's cool. Last time my dad picked me up from school early, he put me on a bus to my mother's house and disowned me. "She makes it feel like home," said my then boyfriend, now husband, to his mom when we first moved in together. Similar to the OP, this was told to me by an ex I used to work with. Apparently after I went home for the day, two of the project leads in the office were talking. Project lead 1. "Dude, Pig Charmer is a genius." Project lead 2. "Yeah, but his code is sometimes messy." Project lead 1. "It works fine, right?" Project lead 2. "Well, yeah." Project lead 1. "Shut up." Felt so good. I know I'm not a genius, I just have good work ethic, but I'll let people believe I'm a genius anyway. It's good to have people willing to shut people up on your behalf. Girlfriend talking to her friends at church. Didn't know I was behind her. I wish he would just buy me a ring and lock this down. In HS I was a track runner, sprinter. At a track meet I overheard runners from another team talking about their friend. Yeah, but he had to race against haploid cell. Felt good to have respect from the other teams. Side story, at the same meet, overheard a relay team say, "I heard the anchor leg for haploid cells team isn't even that fast." I was the anchor leg. That was enough rage fuel for me to run probably the fastest leg of the 4x1 in my career. Rage fuel. Oh yes. OMG, you aren't going to believe me. 5. I came 5 times. Girl I hooked up with trying to make her friend jealous the morning after. Lies I assure you, but the jealous friend told a few girls around school. Good stuff. Life-changing comment. College life anyway. I was seated at my desk at work, at a call center, and my supervisor was helping another agent on the other side of the aisle, separated by a divider that doesn't block any sound. I heard him say, "I'm not sure. I'll get Kadem Shank to help you when he gets back from the bathroom. He's my go-to guy for these kind of issues." Heck yeah. I was on a road trip with two of my closest friends. We took turns driving, and it was my turn to be in the back seat. I was looking out the window at the beautiful day and singing along to the music, not really thinking about anything and just enjoying the moment. Out of the corner of my ear, I hear one friend say to the other, "Look at how happy she is. Like a puppy." A long time, I was hanging out at the SNL dress rehearsal. Dr. Dre was the musical guest, and Eminem and Snoop Dogg were backing him up. My friend and I were just sitting and talking, and behind me I hear, "Suzanne, I'd like you to meet my girlfriend Bridget. Bridget, I'd like you to meet my girlfriend Susanna. I've been meaning for you two to meet for a long time." We turn around and it was Eminem with a girl in each arm. We were very impressed. One does not simply walk into SNL dress rehearsal. My best friend was driving me the long way home really late at night after we had gone to a bar. I was drunk out of my mind and falling asleep in the passenger seat. She was dozing off and struggling to stay awake at the wheel. I didn't overhear it. I was knocked the heck out, but she embarrassedly confessed to me later that when she was falling asleep, she slapped herself in the face and said aloud, "This is your best friend in the freaking world you're driving. Wake up." It's weird, but that is one of the most touching things I've ever heard. We've been best friends for years but we never show affection. We always just take the pee out of each other and joke around. I was pretty moved. A group of students in my biochemistry lab whispering about who should ask me for help, since apparently I know everything. I could use you in my biochem lab, haha. I'm walking past two girls talking about needing to exercise when I heard this. "Even my shadow looks like crap. You know you need to go on a run when even your shadow looks like crap." Little did she realize she was casting a shadow on some dog droppings. At a party at a friend's house, went to use the bathroom but it's occupied so I was waiting outside the door. Inside were two girls talking about how they both wanted me, then joking around about having a threesome. Needless to say they were both embarrassed when they opened the door and I was standing there with a smug butt grin on my face. Go on. Helping out my grandma. Her friend came over and they were out talking. At one point she said he's my favorite one in the grandkid bunch and he's got good looks to boot. Made me smile anyways. Three really cute girls at a movie theater stop me and comment on my Minecraft shirt. Score. I see them later at GameStop buying Pokemon. Score. And a third. When I say this is the third time I've seen you three tonight, one says yeah, cause she's been stalking you. And the cutest of the three, loudly and embarrassedly, says I was not stalking him. The difference between a guy being stalked and a girl being stalked. One likes it. At a family function I saw an aunt turn to her husband and whisper divorce court in a creepy deep voice. Ever since then that has been her nickname for when she's not around. I was friends with this girl and wanted to ask her out, but I have tiny testicles. Anyway, during a night of drinking, I overheard her talking with some random who, having larger balls than me, asked her out. She turned him down and not knowing that I was in the vicinity, I heard him ask her why not, and her response was that she wanted to date someone else. She gave a rough description of that someone else and it was obvious that she was referring to me. I asked her out a couple days later, and yes, read it, she was hot. Once I was running laps shirtless somewhere when I passed a couple of ladies walking in the same direction. After a pause I heard one of them say he looks like he should be in movies. Made me feel great, even if there's a chance they weren't talking about me. P. I used to work at a crappy fast food place with a drive-thru. I was working said drive-thru one day when an arguing couple came through. Most people don't know this, but when you get within range of that little speaker box on the bottom of the menu, the drive-thru worker can hear you via headsets and most of the back line, people who make the food, can hear you via speakers, even if you haven't been addressed or are on hold. The man asked for a moment to decide, and I told him to let me know when he was ready to order. He started suggesting items to his wife, who was shooting them down one after the other really harshly. He finally says, "Maybe you shouldn't be so negative." And she responds with, "Well, maybe you shouldn't have slept with my sister many." No. 0 expressions were exchanged between myself and the backline. Then we burst into laughter. Thank God my mic was off. Overheard a girl talking about a guy she had been with. I should get a trophy for handling that. It was like 7 inches as she sticks up her hands to convey the length, about 1.5 feet apart. I fell over laughing. I went to Mexico with some friends in '09. We were all at a secluded little beach when my buddy and his girlfriend went for a walk down the beach. A little while goes by and the rest of us are getting ready to leave, so I volunteer to go find them. It's a beach with some sweet sand dunes, and just as I get to the top of one, I see them at the bottom just in time to see my buddy drop to one knee and ask his girlfriend to marry her. She said yes. They hadn't seen me, so I backed away, like a bro, and let them enjoy the moment. I actually record people's conversations that I overhear. Creepy as heck but hilarious sometimes. Would anyone be interested if I uploaded some? Freaking yes, upload that crap. You're creepy as frick for recording them and creepy as frick for asking us instead of just uploading them. But I salute you, you creepy frick. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.